Welcome everyone back to the Crimson 15 podcast. I'm your host, Crimson. Be sure to check us out over on Twitter at C15 Podcast. Join a discussion in Discord, link in the description below. If you like these long format reviews, be sure to like, sub, share, and hit that bell for notifications. So we're up to episode 8 in Carmen Sandiego, second to last episode, and right off the bat, not a bad episode. The feeling of like how Zach and Ivy are just nowhere to be found. We do see Zach towards the end of the episode, but it just doesn't explain where they're at or what they're doing. It almost feels like this should have happened earlier, just because it's just Player and Carmen like 99% of the time. But we start out the episode and we have a flashback of Carmen having that. Remember in the first episode or second one, I believe, she was doing that test with Shadow-san where you had to get the dollar out of his coat. Tigress went first and she was able to find the dollar, but she used her special spy thing so she knew exactly where it was. Carmen didn't have anything like that. And she failed. And we didn't see the actual test. We just saw the aftermath of her failing. So we got to actually see the actual test. And Carmen's like doing her best. She's getting in his pockets and everything, but there's nothing there. We don't learn if there was a dollar in there or not. It seemed that Shadow-san during this whole little altercation was getting pretty nervous. I'm still thinking there was no dollar. I could be wrong. Hopefully it gets revealed in the last episode, but I'm starting to think I would like for Carmen to fail, but she's supposed to be the best pickpocket, and even at the end of the episode, she shows how great of a pickpocket she is. But she wakes up from, I guess it's a reoccurring nightmare, and it was a Player calling her, and he knew, oh, you're having that same nightmare again. And he's like, why do you even care? If you would have got that dollar, you would have graduated, and you probably still would be a bad guy right now. But she's like, it just felt like I failed, like I needed to prove something. I'm like, oh, that's an interesting, aspect of Carmen. Even though she knows it would probably lead to something horrible, she still wanted to succeed. And Carmen's pretty hippie. She's working them hips, and then I guess she's in San Francisco. I don't know if this is her home base or whatever, or if it's just a hotel room. And then it's like really foggy outside, and they give us a little breakdown of San Francisco, like, oh, it's famous for the Golden Gate Bridge. Not made out of solid gold like I thought it would be. It has trolley cars. It has the Chinatown, Alcatraz prisons, male bathhouses. No, they talk about like, oh, there's a lot of fog and everything. The funny thing is this conversation between Player and Carmen, I know it's unnatural and it sounds really weird and forced, but I still like educational aspects of the show. Then I guess she's like, oh, they're gonna use the money they've been stealing from Vile to go to this children's auction. It's not any specific auction, it's just gonna go to the kids. And I thought this was nice. She's like, oh, it's a perfect color for red, but since it's like a charity auction, she decided to wear a really nice like evening gown. She looks absolutely spectacular in this dress. Has a gold trim, the earrings and the jewelry matches. She looks really, really nice. I guess she buys like a car that's from like a Fast and Furious type movie. Looks like an old like 67 Charger. It's a cool looking car. And then I guess there's some stamp that's going up for auction. I guess there's only like one surviving thing of this stamp, and it's worth $10 million. Like even Carmen's like, oh, 10 million pennies. No, $10 million. Goes up on the auction block and it's missing. So somebody stole it. Probably going to be Vile. Player hacks the cameras and sees someone snooping around outside. Okay, go get him. And of course it's foggy outside, so she has use a little pen light or whatever to kind of look around. And we see Chase is out there. Oh, Carmen Sandiego, I got you this time. And it's like a bunch of stupid back and forth. Oh, if you're trying to sneak around, you shouldn't have a beacon. And then she's like, oh, then she runs away from him. Oh, you shouldn't wear clacky shoes. And then I thought, oh yeah, she's totally going to pelt him with one of these shoes. And yeah, she totally throws a high heel at him, which I thought was hilarious. And he runs into Julia. I don't know her last name because Chase's accent is so thick, I can't even make out what he's trying to say because he calls her Agent something, which I'm assuming is her last name. But I'm going to just call her Julia because I have no idea what her last name is because you can't understand the guy. They run into Mind Bomb, and it's just silliness. It's just these little jokey moments, and he thinks he's just a regular street performer. And Julia's like, hey, it's kind of weird that would be in this area at this time at night. It's kind of odd. But he gets away, and because he doesn't think anything of it, and of course, he has the stamp. I know he's a mime, but even when he's talking to the Vile bosses, he does the whole charades thing. Like, they have to, like, guess what he's talking about. The gag is old. I can understand him doing that with everyone else, but when your bosses are talking to you, I mean, seriously. Then they have to do that whole exchange thing, which they just established, like, in the last episode. It's so weird, because it's not till, like, the next morning. Why wouldn't he just, like, get on a boat in the bay and just get the hell out of there? It's just, why hang around in the city? You're just gonna get caught. But they're deciding who they're going to send for the exchange. You think they would have decided that before starting the operation? Like, oh, everything would be pre-planned. But I guess they do it, they fly by wire, these guys. Shadow-san says he nominates Tigress to go. And then you can see Coach, what was her name? Is it Coach? I forget her name. Coach something. She's like giving him guff about, oh yeah, because she got her butt kicked in Indonesia. Is that why you're sending her? And they're kind of having it back and forth. You can tell they don't like each other because he disliked her because she was really soft on Carmen when she was in the program. And he always treated her like crap. So they don't like each other. And they're like, oh, why even argue? Let's just have a vote. And Cerebellum isn't voting. She's just working on her computer because she's trying to hack that key card, that Acme key card that Paper Star stole. And she's like, whatever, I'll vote for whoever. Just stop talking to me, which is kind of stupid. But then we see Coach gives the two cleaner guys like that, wink, like, hey, get things done. I'm thinking Coach is an Acme agent or something of that nature, like, or she's been leaking information to them because that look, it just makes me think that, oh, she's not just because later on in the episode, she kind of has like, I pre-sent them there. But I'm thinking she's trying to help Carmen in some way. Or if not, a complete double agent, like she's really a good guy. We get to the next morning, which Mind Bomb should have just been gone, but he's like waiting for the drop off, and Tigress is wearing her little, she wears a green coat, and Carmen wears a red one. And there's like triangulate the positioning, go find him. Carmen has eyes on Mind Bomb, and she's like hiding in the corner, like in an alleyway. And he sees her, she sees him, and then he starts like to walk away. And it's like, these are the worst thieves ever. I understand his trick is to hide in plain sight, but Carmen should be way smarter than that. But whatever, she gets spotted, and he knows he's being tailed. He has the stamp in like one of those little lucky kittens you see at all the like Chinese restaurants. It's like its hand moves up and down. It'd have been nice if they did the whole little history on that because it's actually kind of interesting between differences of there's a gold one, a white one, depending if it's right paws up or left paws up, it means different things. That would have been kind of fun, but they don't say anything. They just show it. He goes into a shop that has a bunch of these little kitties, and I guess he left it in there, as the drop off. And of course, Carmen sometimes I think she's a little too smart, but she realized the little coin cover thing, it has tape on it, so that can't be the one that he had. So she sees one that's been, that the thing's been removed, so she knows that's the one. She's going to go buy it. Tigress happens to walk by, then sees her, and, I always took you for a crazy cat lady. And they came in all these little cat puns. An okay fight in the store. The store owner reacts a little bit like, ladies, don't fight over the cat. There's plenty of them. But call the damn cops. These people are having a brawl inside your shop. This is another thing that's happened to this whole entire series. They get in these giant fights and then no one around them reacts. Like, store owners, citizens, people walking by, like they don't care. They just let them have this fight. But, they're fighting, and then Tigress ends up getting the little kitty cat thing and runs out of there. But it was a fake. And then Carmen still had the real one in her pocket. It was nice that Carmen paid the lady for all the damage. That she just gives her like a stack of money. Tigress checks it, and there's nothing in there because Carmen still has it. And Carmen checks it, there was nothing in there to begin with. Mind Bomb fooled everyone, and he just kept the stamp on himself. So I'm like, oh, that was a pretty cool little trick that he did there. He needs to just get the hell out of there instead of just walking around, but he's just, leisurely walking. This is why I think Coach is a double agent, because we have Chase and Julia are walking. She's like, oh, Acme Intel says that there's going to be an exchange in Chinatown. How would they know that unless someone was leaking the information? I'm pretty sure it's Coach. But they're like walking, and then they see Mind Bomb, and then Julia's like, hey, that's the same freaking guy that we saw outside the auction house. And like, Chase is like, okay, we're gonna arrest him, or at least try to question him. He does the same stupid thing he did when Carmen tackled him. He does the pretend to run away thing like he's running in place. Why in the world would he do that? Chase tackles him, they arrest him. Like, oh, actually, Chase actually did something correct. And they're like walking him like in this like alley that has like graffiti on the wall. XOXO, like hugs and kisses. And Chase can't find his key card. Oh, you must have dropped it. And Julia's like throwing, she's like, did you drop it in the lake when you fell in the water or got beat up? Like, she's like bringing up all his failures, which is really funny. And he's like, whatever, just use your key card. And I guess it's like one of the Acme secret, interrogation booths. It's so weird. Like the legal authority for them to do what they're doing is like, completely wrong. But they have like a bag on his head and everything. Like, what is this, Gitmo? Then Chase starts to question him. And of course he's like a mime. He can't talk because he can't use his body or his hands. And Julia's like, oh, maybe you have to let him answer in his own way. He starts doing the charades thing, and then there's like this another bit where Chase doesn't get it. He starts making all these outlandish things, like, I don't even remember what he was saying, but he's like, oh, all this crazy crap. And then Mind Bomb's like, my God, how could you get it so wrong? Like, you can just see it in his face. But Julia, of course, because she's the actual detective and she's actually smart, she's like, no, he just said that he has no idea who this Carmen Sandiego person is and he's just a street performer. He goes full on bad cop and it looks like he's going to beat the crap out of him, but he doesn't. He's like, grabs his collar and he's like screaming in his face, you have the stamp, I know you have it. And when he was, berating him, he slipped the stamp into his coat. But they just let him go because he's going to like tail him now. What I don't get is, remember those two other agents? It was like a black chick and a white dude. They never talked, but they looked semi-competent. Why are they the only two agents going after these? And how come they're not wearing the men in black suits like the rest of them? But whatever. He goes to the wharf and he's like doing his, regular act. And then Tigress meets up with him. And of course, she can't just talk to him. He has to do everything in charades. And she even has to put money in his cup. Like, why even do that? And then he tells her in charades mode, he put the stamp in Chase's jacket. Carmen is watching from up above and sees them. And of course, she figures it out too because she's crazy smart. The mind bomb walks away. Chase is like tailing him. And as he walks by Tigress cuts his coat and gets the stamp. I know her claws are sharp and everything, but he didn't feel any of that. I don't know. Carmen's getting frustrated because she's like, oh crap. She got it. She's running away. Carmen gives chase. And Chase, oh my God, the sea breeze is so cold. And of course, his coat's cut. He sees Carmen chasing after Tigress. So he just assumes Carmen cut his coat. And that's enough for him to go try to arrest her. It's so funny that he has no idea of anything. He just knows that his coat's been cut. He's blaming it on Carmen. Okay. And this is where, again, another time where wouldn't it have been great if they'd have been like, communicator, hey, any other agents in the area? I got eyes on Carmen Sandiego. We're headed down 5th Street and whatever. Nothing. They're just the only two people chasing her. It's like, come on, give us some more stuff. Then we get to the best part of the episode. There's some douchebag, rich dude driving a Lamborghini. This is obviously a clone of a Lamborghini. Tigress just grabs him and throws him out of it and steals his car. And, oh, you can't steal my car. Who wants to say it to the hand? She has her claws or whatever. She takes off and Player's like, oh, I'm sending pick. I'm like, oh, thank you. Zach's here. I guess Zach is her driver guy. So I guess Carmen doesn't know how to drive. Zach's got to be good for something. But he pulls up in his freaking Chargers. And then they have classic car chase. Chase shows up and he calls up his Aston Martin. And then rightfully so, Julia's like, are you sure you want to go on another car chase? You always end up in a river. You almost get yourself killed, and then of course he berates her. Oh, that's why I'm not bringing you along because I don't want to hear your crap. Again, he's an idiot. Julia should be the one doing everything. And then they get a car chase through the hills of San Francisco. Some of the stuff is, I love cars. I love racing games. I love drifting, all that kind of stuff. I like all that. Tigress does this maneuver where she pulls the emergency brake, then turns. And she downshifts, like she's doing too many things that you wouldn't. It's either one or the other. Like if you're gonna power slide with the e-brake, your downshifting has to be a lot quicker. It's just it looks cool because cinematic, but none of it makes any sense. But they're chasing each other, and there is no way unless this Charger of his is insanely souped up, like suspension wise, it could not keep up with that Lamborghini. Not in a million billion years. In a straight line for a little bit, but with all these twists and turns, she would have left that Charger in the dust. But of course, whatever, they're chasing. And Zach's kind of being like, oh, what if it can go up walls like it did in whatever the movie is called, Up a Wall? That made me laugh because it's so stupid. They're chasing and chasing. They even go through, of course, the hills of San Francisco. And this looks like it's around sunset. This is the most empty San Francisco has ever been in the history of San Francisco. I guess they're paying homage to Bullet with Steve McQueen, where they had their chase, where there was a Mustang chasing, I think it was a Charger. And they're going up the hills and everything, all the crashing and stuff. It's kind of cool. It's fun. It's the best part of the episode. Tigress contacts Vile headquarters, like, oh, I'm going to need pickup or whatever. And that's when Coach goes, oh, I sent the cleaners ahead of time. They're going to be there waiting for her. Gets a helicopter in Golden Gate Bridge. And Shadowstone's like, don't ever make it in time. But I guess she already pre-tipped them, which leads me to believe she has to be at least leaking information, if not outright an Acme agent altogether. And we have Chase is chasing, and Julia's trying to explain to him, be careful and everything. And he's trying to hang up on her. He can't do it on the touchscreen because I guess you have to scroll down, then up to hang up. And he's screwing with the screen, and Julia's like, just keep your damn eyes on the road. And he goes off-road and ends up in the San Francisco Bay again. Chase is worthless. Again, I don't know how people like this guy. I guess you like him because he's funny, but He's not intentionally funny. He's funny because he's horrible at his job. And then Julia's like, scroll down till you get to E. Then there's the eject button, to get you out of there. I'm like, she should be doing everything. They get to the Golden Gate Bridge. Instead of the helicopter just throwing down a tow rope or something, she has to climb to the top of one of the bridge. Carmen gives chase, and then I thought, oh, cool, we're going to have a cool fight on top of the San Francisco Bridge. The helicopter has a spotlight down there. Very cool action set piece. But she's like goofing on her like, finding this stamp in my little thigh-high boot should be easier than, $1, like harkening back to that dollar test. And they get in their little combat, mode, and she slides and gets the stamp. No fight. And swiped her cell phone too. What a waste of a location that could have been a really cool fight scene, but whatever. Stole her phone too. And she gets her little classic hang glider and she takes off. Shadow Sun's like, Tigress, have you secured the stamp? And Carmen's like, oh, the stamp's secured. But, there was, and then she kind of like says, oh, you tell me there was never $1 in that coat on my test. Shadow Sun says nothing, and it's like, oh, like I need your stamp of approval. Stamp of approval. Throws it in the lake, and that's the end of that little caper. The cleaners pick up Tigress. She's sad because she failed the mission. Julia goes to save Chase because he's an idiot and almost got himself killed again. Now he has a cool little half jacket like Trunks from Dragon Ball Z. But he's like, oh, the luck's going to run out for Carmen. You get back to Vile, and I guess this whole time, then of course Coach gives Shadow Sun a bunch of crap. Oh, your best student failed again. And I guess Sarah Bellum cracked the Acme card, and she's like, oh, I found out it belongs to this Chase Deveneaux, and that's the end of the episode. But that's nice that they learned that information. I guess, what are they going to blackmail him or get to him to use him to get to Acme? I guess that might be the setup, but she didn't learn anything else. I'm glad Zach showed up in the episode, and he didn't say where he was or what he was doing or where his sister is. But with only one more episode to go, I was hoping there was going to at least be like a two-parter, like something bigger, something grander. But I guess it's all going to be just in one episode. And I don't think, but with the season finale, I'm wondering if they're doing the same thing as She-Ra, because with that series, they split season 1 into 2 parts. So when season 2 comes out, it's really not season 2. It's just the second part of season 1, because there was no big final thing that you would end a season on. So hopefully Carmen does something a little bit better with this last episode. But overall, the car chase was cool, if not a little ridiculous. The fight in the little cat shop was kind of cool. A wasted, cool moment on top of the Golden Gate Bridge for a 30-second little stole the thing from her. And hopefully they reveal the coach was always a good guy. Like she was always a leaker of some kind. But one episode to go. Probably do that one tomorrow night just so I can clean up with this whole series. And then we'll do a what I want to see in season 2. But if you guys are liking these long form reviews, leave us suggestions in the comment section. Hit us up on Discord. Links in the description below. Any other cartoon series you want us to check out? A couple people said Dragon Prince and a couple other ones. Maybe I'll see how those go, because a lot of people talked about those. But thanks for watching. We just got over 2,000 subs. Thank you guys for watching and liking the videos. And we do this stuff for you. So leave us comments. I read every single one of them. And see you guys in the next episode. Crimson Saint here. Thanks for watching the video. If you're enjoying the content, be sure to sub, like, share, and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss a single upload. If you have any tips or story ideas, hit us up on Twitter at C15 Podcast, or better yet, join our Discord server, link in the description below.